Avatar: The Last Airbender has produced a live-action version of the original story, and it's actually fantastic. There are a lot of creative liberties that they are taking with the original source material, and I love most of them. I have thoroughly enjoyed what I have seen. The best parts about this show are obviously the special effects, the fight choreography, and the genuine appreciation the show has for the original characters. Each bending movement seamlessly blends into real life. The waterbenders actually lose part of their liquid when they pull it out of a larger body. Also, the earthbenders essentially break the ground in order to push Earth forward. They don't just bring forth perfect rectangles from the ground like in the show. The firebenders actually burn people alive too, which is not what I was expecting at all. The show is pretty shocking, and while it is not exactly bloody, it does have some pretty tough scenes to watch when you factor in the screaming of a victim. I think that the fighting itself is impressive. When you see large bursts of bended material fly at a person, it really mimics the original show's impact, especially when we are talking about something like the Avatar state. I have to mention this creative liberty they took, so if you haven't seen the show and don't want a minor spoiler, skip to the next chapter in this video. So when the Avatar gang is on Kyoshi Island, right, Aang gets in contact with Kyoshi herself, and dang, she takes over his body to absolutely murk the invading firebenders. I mean, she devastates the battlefield, and no diffs, at least 10 firebenders at the same time. My jaw just dropped when I saw this scene. I guess Avatar Roku was able to take over Aang's body and actually use his bending in the cartoon, but I don't think Kyoshi fully obliterated people like this using Aang's body in the cartoon. It was a welcome surprise, and I hope to see more like that in the coming seasons of this show. Okay, so back to my overall review. I like most of the things about the show because the characters are adhering to their original personalities. Sokka is still arrogant and curious, but the only thing I would say that is different is he comes off kind of mean rather than just being sassy or overprotective. In the cartoon, his concerns seem valid and justified, but in the live-action series, his delivery is flatter. This kind of portrays him as really harsh, but I think this harshness is really lessening the more I watch the show. In addition, each character has very similar dialogue and deliveries as their cartoon counterparts. Azula is snappy and blunt. Katara is heartfelt and sappy. Aang is oblivious and airheaded. The only problem with this is that they seem less human and more of a caricature. Cartoons are supposed to be a bit over-exaggerated since they are a kind of art. Art reflects life, but it is rare to have completely realistic art. I think the live-action show honestly relies too heavily on the original source material for the character, emotions, and dialogue. This show should make the people feel a little bit more human and less like they are reading from the lines spoken by a cartoon character. However, I'm torn. I do appreciate the attention to detail when it comes to adapting these characters into live action. The Cabbage Man is a delightful addition to the show that actually demonstrates the people that are making this really do care a great deal. There is one thing that I don't like. It's the casting choices for Azula, Ty Lee, and May. They just don't really look like the cartoon characters in my opinion, but it's not that big of a deal. The last thing I wanted to mention was also the humor. This show is seriously funny, and although some of the dialogue is a little forced, the jokes still land when you have, for example, a character like Sokka fumbling over his words when trying to rizz up a girl. The personality behind what is being said is what makes the joke so effective. If I had to give this show a rating, I would definitely rate it very highly, probably an 8.4, 8.5 out of 10. It is worth the watch if you liked the cartoon because it does not exactly follow it shot for shot, but it does a lot of cool extra things. I gotta say that I was highly impressed, and I will 100% be finishing this show.